What up? What's up? What's up? What is happening, Steeler Nation? Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel Basement. What is happening, everybody? Good day for Steeler Nation, and y'all gonna see me be what I like to call ghetto here live on live camera. Got to put some lotions on lotions. How many lotions? Got to put some lotion on my hands just in case they don't look quite right in the camera. You know this camera don't lie. It picks up everything. While I'm at it, I might as well get elbows too, right? Y'all know I keep it real with y'all. Y'all know I'm a real one. I call myself the realest content creator you ever gonna find. Because I let y'all see everything. I'm not ashamed. Very confident in myself. I'm not ashamed. So, here we go. Now that I'm lathered up, so to speak, what's happening? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing on this cut down day Tuesday, I guess you would call it? Let's get into it. That's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to throw the timer on. Boom. Hey, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but I know I won't be beyond that time. That's what I do know. In and out. If it takes an hour, it does. We'll take phone calls, and that's really what it's about. That's why I titled this video, tonight's show, Reaction to the Initial 53, because I really want to hear from you guys more than I want to hear from myself. I will give you my quick thoughts, but then I just really want to hear from the people. You know, and if you don't want to call in, we'll just stay right in the chat. But first and foremost, let's say what's up to the early commenters. Always want to do that. Brent Fox in the building. Aaron Morris. Brother Mark 1992. Brian Williams. Joshua Shields. Who else we got? Nobe 412. Who else? Hello, Miss Lanisha. Hello, Lanisha. How you doing, Lanisha? One of our lovely ladies in the chat. Make sure you say hello to Lanisha, guys. Y'all know the routine. Anytime you see one of the ladies, make sure you treat them with care. Thank you for coming through, Lanisha, like always. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Who else we got? Jared Devil. Eric Walker. Mark Irish. Kev So Nice. Who else is in here early and often? I might have went through all the names. Father-in-law in the building. Jack Bauer. Ali Howard, excuse me. Amon Bozeman. I don't remember if I said you yet. If I did, hey, shout you out twice. Who else? CT Pittman. LeCobe Kelly. Am I saying that correct? Is it LeCobe or LeCobe? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it correct. But hello to you. Representing the 662, he says Mississippi in the building. What up? Shout outs to Mississippi. You know, y'all got two hip hop artists that I revere from your neck of the woods. One, David Banner, and my man Big Crick. What up, Mark? Mark Malone, look at Mark. He's trolling. He says, Tomlin fan present. What's up, Mark Malone? Yeah, Big Crick, that dude, man. Y'all know my history. I'm a hip hop dude, man. Y'all know I know the real hip hop. You know, I know them dudes that people don't talk about. Same reason why, and I agree with my man Killer Mike that he has probably the best hip hop album of the year by far, in my opinion. Even though Nas dropped, Killer Mike's album is just different. And if you know, you know. But anyway, let's talk about some Steelers news, shall we? Let's get right into it. I'm going to get right to it. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the cuts. We're going to go through the cuts, and then we're going to look at, well, actually, no, let's do it in reverse. I'm trying to think. Do I want to do cuts first or 53-man roster? Let's do cuts. We'll talk about the cuts, then we'll talk about the roster, and what I'll talk about is whether or not I think the depth is adequate. Do I think they may add one or two pieces depending on who's out there? I haven't went out there to look. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk really quick. Well, first, hold on. Before the cuts, there's a couple things that we do have to talk about first. And y'all can tell I'm doing this live, right? Y'all can tell I don't have a script because I'm always thinking on the fly. I will do cuts, and then we will talk about a couple trades that happened. All right, so let's do the cuts. Let's get the cuts out of the way. And I was just over at father-in-law Leonard's house, man, a little while ago. Wife made dinner for the family. And, he asked me, were any of the cuts surprising? And I said, no, not really. However, there is one that popped up that is a little surprising. And there's one person that I will talk about. So, Steelers cuts so far. Well, 53-man roster is set. So there's Luke Baku, Chris Wilcox, Braden Fajoku, Jonathan Marshall, Nick, guy still, I can't pronounce his last name. Forgive me, Nick. But y'all know who I'm talking about. David Perales, Quincy Roche. Not surprised by either one of those gentlemen being cut. Running back Greg Bell, running back Xavier Valade, safety Trenton Thompson, and safety Trey Norwood. I'm going to stop on Trey Norwood for a second. Let me take a sip of water. Y'all don't mind me being hydrated, do you? Listen, I want to say I talked about this after last week's game or one of these shows recently. I just said that I think Trey Norwood's, him being injured. And I might have said it when me and Kenyon did the still table. And by the way, we plan to do another still table probably next week. I said it'd be good to do one right before the first game. I said him being injured, man, through training camp was gonna hurt him. Right? The funny thing is, though, is I thought that maybe Trenton Thompson or Kenny Robinson, who we were hearing more about in camp, would have had more opportunity. But it looks like it's probably Elijah Riley. Because I haven't fully looked at this list, but I think Elijah Riley is the one who made it. And remember I said also, a lot of you guys knew this, that he could double as the safety / slot guy. So I had a strong feeling that he would make the team. And we said it, man. We said Trey Norwood being injured was going to be to his detriment. And sometimes that's the nature of the business, unfortunately, man. Tight end Rodney Williams. Wide receiver Jordan Byrd. I think I called that one after the very first preseason game. I was like, if you understand the Steelers, and I could probably say this about a few organizations, but let's just stick with our Steelers. If you understand the Steelers, man, all you have to do is pay attention to what they do in preseason, right? Preseason 1. Who do they have returning kicks right out the gate? Punts and kickoffs. Who was it? You guys remember? You guessed it. It was this kid, Jordan Byrd. Now, why is that significant? That let me know right there that was the only way he was going to make the team. If there was any chance, he was going to have to do something spectacular on special teams. He was not going to make the team as a wide receiver. And that's the reason why I believe they put him out there. Because you notice you didn't see him again. We have seen Calvin Austin since then, and we've seen Gunnar Olszewski. So Jordan Byrd being cut, no surprise. Des Fitzpatrick, no surprise. Ryan McCullum, not a surprise, but this was a name that we were hearing about in training camp. When we talk about offensive line depth. And there's a couple names I'm going to skip because these are going to be the more feature people I'm going to talk about. So Ryan McCullum, Tanner Morgan, no surprise. Darian Higgins, Aaron, is it Cruikshank? Y'all know the receiver that we recently signed. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but no surprise there. LaRaven Clark, no surprise. Bill Dunkel, no surprise. Dan Chazina, no surprise. James Nayawaya, if I'm saying his name correctly. I don't even know who he was. No surprise. Forrest Ryan, no surprise. Danny Jones, Kwani Gang, no surprise. None of these dudes. Tanner Muse, maybe a surprise if you're thinking he was going to be a special teams guy. But not really surprised by any of these cuts so far. Madre Harper, Neville Clark, Lavert Hill, Jalen Elliott. Kenny Robinson is interesting. Again, like I said, I thought he would make a play at perhaps being another piece in the safety position as far as depth. But, you know, there you have it. Rex Sanahara, he was a long snapper. I didn't even know nothing about him. And then BT Potter. None of these guys are a surprise. Now, let me get to my one surprise cut. Zach Gentry. Yes, I said that in case you guys didn't hear that. Tight end Zach Gentry was cut. Now, let me at least mention to you. Let me mention to you why that's a surprise. I heard something recently, though. I just heard something. I just watched the press conference that Tomlin did a couple days ago. You know, the quick one. And one of the reporters said, "Hey, how was Zach Gentry's leg, ankle, something?" And he said, "You know, is that something to worry about? Is he fine?" And Mike Tomlin said, "Oh, he's fine." So I don't know if it was an injury thing with Zach Gentry, but it was a little surprising because, guys, if you're doing the math and if you know this team, that's only 2 real tight ends on the roster today. We don't know how the 53-man roster is going to look next week. This is the initial. It could change. Maybe it doesn't. But let's say it doesn't. There's only 2 traditional tight ends on the roster. That would be Pat Fryermuth. That would be Darnell Washington. And it was also reported that Tomlin recently said that Darnell Washington has done more as a receiver, more than they expected. So maybe you would say, well, that's the reason why they might have felt comfortable with moving on from Gentry, because you have a guy who definitely can block. That's his pedigree, and he can give you some catching. But still, think about depth. And I know some of you guys are going to say, well, what about Connor Haywood? Well, you notice I said traditional tight end. Connor Haywood is not that. You know, from a size standpoint, just your traditional tight end doesn't line up in the backfield. You remember Connor Haywood had carries as a running back last week. He's not a traditional tight end. You know, he's the Jalen Samuels of tight ends, if y'all understand that reference. He's a do-it-all type of guy, and maybe doesn't have a defined position in the NFL. So it's very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. That was a surprise to me. Now let's talk about 2 other gentlemen, shall we? Neither one of these are a surprise in terms of what happened. I think some of us speculated that one of these guys would be traded and the other would be cut. But man, to find out first, let's talk about Kendrick Green. To find out that Kendrick Green was traded to the Houston Texans for a 2025 6th-round pick. That is very interesting. I don't know how Omar Khan is pulling some of this stuff off. Now, I will say this. Is it the same compensation that they paid for him? It is not. You know, again, they spent a 3rd-round pick on Kendrick Green. It was a miss. You know, they took a shot in the dark because clearly, see, again, guys, you don't always have to agree with what the team does. You know, that's a difficult job. We're not the GMs. We're not the owners. We're not the coaches. So let me explain something to you really quick. It's easy for us to sit on the outside and say, that was a bad move. I wouldn't have did that. Maybe not. But again, when I look at what happened in that draft, the Steelers felt like Najee Harris was a better value in the 1st round. We could all argue whether or not you take a running back in the 1st round. We can argue that. Now, we can all say, I don't know if I would have done that. That's fair. But what I always try to do, even if I don't think I would do something, I try to look at the justification from the team. So I think they had him rated extremely high. They felt like he was being extreme value. Think about it. The Steelers traditionally have been a bell cow type of team with a running back. Najee is a big guy, pretty durable, right? You know, they had success in recent years with a big guy, different type of back, but a Le'Veon Bell. You know, they had tremendous success with Jerome Bettis. This is just what they've done in this era. So I understand them and Najee being the prospect that he was. I get if that's what they wanted, why they did it. I might not necessarily have done that. And then you look at a guy like Pat Fryermuth, they were in need for a tight end as well. The Steelers went into that draft needing help at tight end and definitely offensive line, center primarily being one of them. Remember, no Marquise Pouncey. They needed a running back, but you could have waited on running back. So that's where I think in that particular draft, best available. They went best player available in the first round, and then they went value the second round. And then they tried to say, all right, we probably should have went early at center, but we got to take somebody. And that's just the position they were stuck in. It happens. There's not a GM in the league that makes every decision correctly. When you look at it like that, you can be upset with your team. We can all do that. But when you look at what guys may have been thinking, that's what they did. So instead of going after like a Creed Humphrey or somebody like that, they rolled the dice. They took the running back. They took the tight end. And then boom, they tried to draft any possible person that was left as a potential center. And it just was a miss. So I didn't expect them to get anything for him, to be honest. And they were able to pull off a 6th-round pick. Yeah, it's 2025, but it's still, to me, a highway robbery because the Steelers are probably going to cut him. They're probably going to cut him. If they were, if they were open to trading him for peanuts, so Houston, you might have got fleeced a little bit. We'll see how he turns out, man. Listen, like me, myself, Kenyon, and Tony call him a pimp named Slipback. And that's just an inside joke. Some of y'all would know why we call him that. Some of y'all might not. I hope he lands on his feet, and I hope the kid does well, man. Listen, I'm not one of those Steelers fans that wish ill will when a dude ain't on that team. Some of y'all crazy with that. I don't wish that dude no ill will. Hope you go to Houston, turn your career around, man. Maybe you can land on the team. And oh, one of y'all check this for me while I'm talking. Did Devin Bush make the team? Did Devin Bush make Seattle's roster? Kenyon sent us something earlier in the week where they were saying that the Seahawks may have been in trade talks because they're not sure there was a roster spot. Did Devin Bush make the roster? Somebody check that for me and let me know. But yeah, Kendrick Green, man. Hey, I wish you well, young fella. Hope you fall on your feet. Uh-oh. Bush got... Oh my God. You can't make this stuff up. Are you serious? He ain't make the team. I'm sorry for laughing, man, but dog, are you serious? I can't help it. I can't help it. Oh, wait. Somebody said he made the team. Okay. All right. Okay. I was about to say, man. And the reason why I'm not even going to tell y'all why I was laughing. I'm not laughing at him per se if he didn't make the team, but all right, y'all got me, man. Okay. He made it. We'll see how long he lasts. But, yeah, so the round of applause was warranted. Congratulations, Devin Bush. But if he would have gotten cut, y'all was going to really hear my feelings about how he handled himself in Pittsburgh with that mouth, that mouth that he got. And all this stuff he said, yeah, I'm still going to be. Dog, boy, you better be glad you made that team. Because I was about to let you have it. Edmonds. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so and who did Edmonds go to again? I don't even remember. Who did Edmonds go to? I don't even remember where Edmonds went, man. That's a shame. I done forgot about my boy already. Eagles. Okay. All right. Shout outs to Terrell Edmonds, man. You know, I think he'll do well over there. So, again, all of these ex-players, I applaud them. But they say he is 4th on the depth chart in terms of Devin Bush. Man, oh, man. But, all right, let me get back to what I was talking about. So, yeah, man, Kendrick Green gets traded. I don't know how Khan pulled that off. But here's another one. And this one, some of us expected this, right? We expected this when we signed Siamalu. Kevin Dotson. Kevin Dotson has been traded. He was traded to the Rams. And trade comes with pick swaps. The Steelers and the Rams will swap the 2024 4th and 5th pick. The Steelers gets the Rams 4th, and the Rams gets the Steelers 5th. In 2025, the Steelers gets the Rams 5th, and then the Rams gets the Steelers 6th. I like to say that's probably pretty decent compensation for Kevin Dotson as well. Kevin Dotson hasn't done much, you know, to warrant a trade. But, hey, I'll take that 4th round pick. Yes, I would. Yep, I'll take it. We get the 4th round pick next year. I'll take it. So, shout outs to the Rams. But yeah, these two guys got traded, and there you have it. I'm not surprised by much of what happened here because, like I said, I thought Kendrick Green would be cut. And guys, I mean, unless they thinking he's going to be a guard, I mean, he just didn't have a great preseason. Some botched snaps and just him just getting pushed around. I don't get it. But that guy, Omar Khan artist, boy, oh boy. So the chess moves continue with Omar Khan because, you know, we said that Colbert did some things with the Raiders too a couple years back. And it just seems like, man, the chess moves, we be playing chess out here, man, when it comes to these trades, though it seems. But all right, now let's talk about the guys who did make the team. And we're going to go in order, obviously, as far as position. We'll do offense first. At quarterback, yeah, you probably all know who they are. Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph. Running back, Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, and Anthony McFarland. Yeah, no surprise there. Tight end, Pat Fryermuth, Darnell Washington, Connor Haywood. Like I said, keep an eye out on that position because only 2 real tight ends, traditional tight ends. I don't want to say real. I don't want to disrespect Connor Haywood. I think Connor Haywood is a, Swiss Army knife, good football player, but he's not a traditional tight end. And definitely not in our scheme when you just look at the size of these guys. I mean, go all the way back to Heath Miller, Matt Spaeth, and these dudes. Jesse James. Go all the way back to them. Connor Haywood doesn't fit that mold. He's not Fryermuth. He's definitely not Darnell Washington. So that's why I said traditional tight end. And Zach Gentry was that. That dude had become like the Incredible Hulk, how he transformed his body and all. Wide receivers. Now, this is one that we pretty much said last week as well. Remember I said Gunnar had a good chance to make it? So here are your wide receivers. They kept 6. Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Allen Robinson, Calvin Austin, Miles Boykin. And I know some of you guys may have an eyebrow raised. Well, the reason why Miles Boykin made it is the same reason why Gunnar made it. It's probably special teams related. You guys remember who our top gunner was last year? Y'all remember who that was? Yeah, Miles Boykin. And y'all know the Steelers have an affinity for keeping guys that are special team demons, dudes that don't do nothing else, really. A Miles Killebrew, Tyler Medikevich. Who else? Who else am I missing? Derek Watt. Jordan Dangerfield. I mean, the list goes on and on where the Steelers keep guys around. What was the other dudes? Robert Golden. They just keep these dudes around who are just special teams aces. And there you have it. That was homeboy too for a while. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The kid from Penn State. Marcus, his name was Marcus too. I just can't remember his last name now. Y'all know who I'm talking about, but he was another special teams guy. Offensive tackle, Dan Moore, Chukwuma Okorafor, Broderick Jones, and Dylan Cook. Dylan Cook stuck. You know, this was a guy, again shout outs to Steelers Depot. I know this was a guy that both Alex and Dave talked about extensively. You know, not necessarily him, but they were trying to figure out, you know, what were the Steelers going to do at tackle? You know, who was going to be a guy that would mess around and stick? You know, Steelers usually keep 9 offensive linemen. Sometimes they do 8, but most of the time they do 9. And that had been a conversation. What else were they going to do for tackle depth? So Dylan Cook made the squad. 5 interior linemen, Isaac Siamalu, James Daniels, Mason Cole, Nate Herbig, and Spencer Anderson. Shout outs to Spencer Anderson, man. I told Kenyon and Tony today, we might mess around and but we might mess around one day and look back and say, hey, man, that 2023 draft class wasn't half bad. Remember, this is a dude, I think, he was the 7th round pick, I think. But there's a couple guys in this class that might contribute. So this might turn out to be a decent class as far as percentage-wise, percentage-wise of people that actually play and contribute at some point. Defensively, defensive ends, Cam Hayward, Larry O, DeMarvin Leal, Isaiah Loudermilk, and Armon Watts. Armon Watts made the squad. You know, I think he did enough in preseason, apparently. This is a guy, free agent guy. And there you go. There you go. Made the team. Nose tackle, Montravius Adams and Keanu Benton. I saw a lot of people, man, on Twitter saying they don't understand why Adams made the team. Well, again, I don't know everything. So hopefully nobody ever takes what I say as that. But I know a little bit about the Steelers only because I paid close attention to this team. I paid close attention to how they operate. I paid very close attention to who's playing where, what reps they're getting. It should have been obvious to anybody that Adams was going to make the team. Who's the other nose tackle? You think they're only just going to keep Keanu Benton? Now, I'm not saying you have to like it. I'm just saying that should have been clear and obvious that Montravius Adams was going to make the squad. Who else was going to play nose tackle? Because, see, a lot of times people get caught up with how do we say it? Position, but not specific position. Or you get caught up with the numbers and not look at each position specifically. What I mean by that is a lot of people were saying, oh man, well, you know, they got Leal, they got Loudermilk, you know, they can play D tackle. Yeah, D tackle and sub, not nose tackle, not your traditional nose tackle. And then I just see Mark Irish says Fahoku. Okay, I can understand that. However, Fahoku didn't play much in preseason. You know, he didn't. If he played, but or did he? I don't recall him doing much. I don't think he played often. I could be wrong with that, but we didn't mention this dude's name the entire preseason. So again, I'm not debating anybody who is saying, oh, he did. Okay, well, Kenyon just corrected me. See, then that goes to show you something. If he played a lot, he didn't stand out. Maybe I just missed him. I must have missed him. I must have not realized when he was out there. Because when I was looking at the game, I was looking more so, you know, for Benton, obviously, when Benton was in there. And a lot of times when we were in sub, I'm looking at Leal. So I might have just missed Fahoku, man. So, you know, yeah, like Kenya said, he didn't flash. And again, man, Adams has shown the Steelers something in the past. So to me, what I'm saying is it shouldn't have been a surprise. I mean, like, again, if I show you some of the tweets, some people were going in, like nothing like how you guys are saying, well, maybe Fahoku. No, these people were, oh, the Steelers are stupid. I'm like, I guess maybe you just don't don't pay attention. I think, the pair of Adams and Benton at traditional nose tackle is okay for now, unless they're looking to make a move somewhere. Let's continue. Outside linebackers. This one wasn't hard to pick. This was very easy. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Marcus Golden, and Nick Herbig. Now, this is where the Steelers surprised me. The Steelers, they trimmed some fat with the linebackers. They only kept 8. In many years, they keep 5 of one and 4 of one, meaning 5 of outside or 5 of inside, and then vice versa, right? A lot of years, the Steelers will keep 9 total linebackers. And like I said, depending on depth, they'll have 5 of this and 4 of that. And they flip-flop that in some cases. They've done 8 before, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, but a lot of times one of those positions usually is 5 deep. And so they kind of surprised me a little bit here where they only kept 4 inside guys and outside guys. So again, obviously you knew who the 4 outside guys were going to be. 4 inside guys, Cole Holcomb and Landon Roberts, Quan Alexander, Mark Robinson. I don't think that was hard to figure out as well. And I think we might have even talked about that. I think we might have even said that on the Steel Table show, that we were having a hard time figuring out who the 5th inside backer would have been. And that's when I think I probably said at that point, maybe they keep Tanner Muse for special teams, snaps, but there you have it. But the interesting thing, though, is look at that lineup. So this lets you know that Mark Robinson and maybe even Quan Alexander as well. One of these dudes, probably 2 of these guys are going to be on special teams. That's just what the Steelers do. Their backup linebackers a lot of times fill out that position. Nick Herbig will probably be out there. I can't see Marcus Golden, Alex Highsmith, or TJ out there. So that makes me feel like it's going to have to be Quan. I doubt it's just going to be Mark and Nick. But it's going to be interesting to see who actually is out there, whether it's Quan or Marcus Golden. I think it's going to be at least 3 backers in that in special teams coverage. Cornerbacks: Patrick Peterson, Levi Wallace, Joey Porter Jr., James Pierre, Elijah Riley, and Chandon Sullivan. So they snuck Elijah Riley in there as a corner. Remember, this is a guy who traditionally came as a safety, and they said that they were going to give him an opportunity. Remember before the preseason started, before camp started, that he was going to get an opportunity to compete for the nickel slot, which would have been him, Chandon Sullivan, and I think Duke Dawson was the other guy. So there you have it. They snuck him in there, and this is probably why. 4 safeties, which 4 safeties is usually the number, but again, Miles Killebrew makes the team. That's a special teams guy. But Minkah Fitzpatrick, Devontae Casey, and Keanu Neal, obviously, like I said, along with Miles Killebrew. But doing that, they can utilize Elijah Riley for both positions, safety or corner. So that's how they get away with having the 6th corner and 4 safeties where he can be interchangeable. So that's what they did there. Chris Boswell. They kept Presley Harvin and Braden Mann. Interesting. So more moves are coming. I don't think they're going to keep 2 punters. But that is the initial 53. I'll give you my quick thoughts, and then I'm going to open it up to the phone lines. Like I said, that's all I got tonight. I don't have anything else to deep dive. Wow, I didn't even know I talked that much. So let me hurry up so I can get to the callers. It's okay right now. I mean, I don't know who's out there to acquire. I don't know who else got cut. I don't know who would be a better fit. I don't know any of that. I haven't done any of that work. So if you guys have ideas, please let me know. But I think my reaction to it is I'm not surprised much at all by the roster. The main surprise to me was Zach Gentry getting cut and also keeping the 2 punters initially. But to me, that lets you know that they're looking to add somebody, because keeping 2 punters, obviously you're not going to keep both of those guys active on your 53. And I don't think you have a second punter inactive. You know, I just don't think they do that. So I think there's another move coming or two, and we shall see. We shall see. And I see some of you guys saying that he might be trade bait. Possibly. Y'all are talking about, yep. Bailey Zappi got cut, boy. Okay, y'all saying Philly doesn't have any punters. Okay, so yeah, that could be Khan working his magic again. You know, there's a lot of business going on in the back end. But those are my initial thoughts. So like I said, I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let you guys talk, and me not talk so much as I say that, as I've already spent 30 plus minutes. But all right, man, we got like 5 calls in the queue. So listen, y'all know the routine. Be quick and out, in and out, so we can get everybody in. Don't make me hit the 2-minute time is up on you. You know, try to make it concise and quick. I will do the same with my replies. Let's start. First up, area code 973. What you got for us?
What's good, Sam? How you doing this evening?
Good. What's going on, man?
I can't quote it. There's 2 things. I'm kind of concerned with the, surprised me. I'm concerned with the tight end spot. I just want to know your thoughts. Tight end spot. I love Darnell Washington. You know, Pat Fryermuth is good, but he suffered from a lot of concussions. So I think if it's possible, we can keep Zach Gentry on the practice squad and hope he clear the waivers. And then my second thought is with the safety position. I love Keanu O'Neal. I love DeMonte Casey. They're definitely great players, but now I'm going to go back to your boy, Terrell Edmonds. Casey and O'Neal, they stay injured too. They stay injured mostly all the time. And what Mike Thomas said, it's about availability. That's one thing about Terrell Edmonds was he always was availability, and he was getting better every year. Much as people criticize him, it seemed like he got better every year. I just want to know your thoughts, brother. You have a good night.
Man, thanks for the call. 2 excellent points. Excellent. Tight end is a concern, man. I remembered, but didn't remember like you did on the spot. The concussions with Fryermuth. Fryermuth has been down a couple seasons with concussions. So that's why I feel like they got to do something else, because the Steelers are looking to run the football. That's part of the reason why Darnell Washington was drafted. You know, he calls himself the 6th offensive lineman. I think they want to come out in 12 as much as they can to run and set up play action. And you're going to need a more traditional tight end, blocking type of guy. You know, the Steelers have always gone with those big, bulky guys. So maybe another move is coming. We'll see. Like you said, maybe Gentry circles back. I don't know the practice squad rules anymore, because I know you can get some veterans on your practice squad. But very good point. And definitely a great point by Terrell Edmonds, about Terrell Edmonds. We've seen KZ hurt already twice with us. He was hurt in preseason. He was hurt last season. Keanu O'Neal was dealing with something in this offseason, in training camp. So excellent points, man. I have nothing else to add to that. So let's see what the Steelers do. Maybe that's the reason why they kept Riley as well. He could play safety, but valid points. Next up, area code 803. That is Mr. Winningham. How you doing tonight, sir?
Good evening. I'd be very surprised to see, we did keep that extra punter possibly for a trade, but I'd be very surprised because to see who did that, holding on to him for an extra week or so cost who got caught, who lost their job because we made that transaction. Yeah. I would have loved to see Zach Gentry as the extra blocker, like the previous call said. Fryermuth, more of a pass catching tight end, not a blocking tight end. And but I feel that this offseason we had the most competitive 90-man roster I've seen in a long time. So that I'm pleased, kind of pleased with what we did. I would be also concerned about the backup center position, although our man the pimp named Slickback. I remember when he got drafted, he had this picture of all these ladies from the club on a picture. But I am surprised that we gave, I think what his greatest downfall, he asked for that 53 jersey. And I'm surprised we gave it to him. But other than that, we'll see how everything unfolds. We got, 10 to 14 more days. So we'll see how this season unfolds, how everything unfolds until kickoff. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great week.
Man, thank you, Mr. Winningham. Always good to hear from you, man. Excellent point, like you always do. You always make great points, and you share the same comments about tight end. And that's the thing. People got to remember that Freiermuth is not really the blocking guy, So, yeah, I'm very interested to see what the Steelers are going to do. And like you pointed out, whose job was sacrificed by them holding on to, the extra punter. So stay tuned, everyone. Man, we got a ton of calls in the queue now. So, guys, let's keep it rolling, including myself. Next up, area code 318. What you got for us?
Whoa, what's up, Bob?
What's going on, brother?
Not much. Just got a couple points. I'm gonna make it quick. First, they talk about Montravius Adams. I just feel like he's a better pass rusher than run stopper, but I feel like he can still, hold his own, when we, do the pass rush, and then, we can rotate Benton out. Because looking at him in preseason, like I said, like you were saying, he was moving O-line back, so that could be a nice 1-2 punch. So I feel like we shouldn't really trip on Adams being re-signed or staying on the team. Another one, it's more about the running game. I feel like I went back and watched that 2014 game with the Panthers, how Le'Veon Bell took over in the first half, and second half is LeGarrette Blount. If we can keep that formula, man, that right there, we can be dangerous. But it's different team, different scheme. But that's the other point. And the third point, I'm gonna just say I feel like our linebackers, they're playing smash mouth, and I'm gonna just say, did bringing Aaron Curry make a difference for that? How they're playing, because I can see the difference in the preseason. It's just like we coming head on, like blocking the gaps, and not giving up those big pop side to side runs as well. We showing athleticism and power. But that's all I got tonight. Y'all have a good night.
Man, that's an excellent point. I'm going to hang right on that one real quick so I can be quick. Hey, we got to give Curry his credit, right, folks? We love to give coaches credit and blame. So we got to give him credit for that. Them boys is flying around out there. All of them. And Landon Roberts was playing out his mind in the last game. Quan was going crazy in the first game. Holcomb has been steady. Mark Robinson, y'all already know what it is with him. He's just a wrecking ball. So, yeah. You might have to give a lot of credit to Aaron Curry, man. So, shout outs to the coaching staff. All right, moving on. Area code 412. What you got for us?
What's good, bro?
What's going on, brother?
I just want to say I met Alex from Philly Depot. This dude was living next to me that town. And I had no clue that was him. But I wanted to say I knew Trey Norwood was done, bro, because some injuries and just his tape, you know what I mean? Giving up some big touchdowns. I knew he was done. And we talk about the tight end. They might bring Gentry back. And I don't know who said something about concussions, but if Freiermuth, like you said, traditional Connor Hayward will replace Freiermuth if that do happen, well, we definitely might have to get another tight end. And so hopefully, I've seen him with the third team, so that's to tell me what that is, And who else? Oh, James Pierre. They might do something with him. I don't know, bro, because he had I like James Pierre, though. But he had a off season this time around. So we'll see how it goes, man. I'm putting Kenny Pickett up there for 1-2 out.
Man, appreciate the call. I just dropped my oh, here you go. my camera lens. That's why y'all see me ducking the cap for it. James Pierre, like I said, I don't want to be too harsh on him. I just, just some don't stand out. Maybe it's lack of opportunity. I don't know. But I think James Pierre is one of the guys that he made it because he's there and he's a veteran. I don't think there was another option at that spot as far as where he's at on the depth chart. So it's one of those. It's almost like when homeboy from what was the kid, man? Justin Lane. It's almost like a Justin Lane at this point. He's there and he's at that spot of the depth chart and maybe nobody could overtake him. He knows the defense. You want to keep X amount of cornerbacks. That's kind of how I feel about why James Pierre might be still there. And it might be other stuff that he's doing that I don't know. I know he's on special teams, but, yeah. All right, let's move on. Next in the queue, 859. What you got for us?
Yeah. Yo, what's going on, Sam?
What's going on, man?
Long time no hear. You heard? This Carmichael, man. Hey, man, I don't even remember what episode that was, but I told you, I said, bro, Gentry's not making this roster. They literally signed him like a day before training camp, and then they signed him for like dirt cheap. Like
they
he
did.
was never part of the plan to begin with. He was never part of the plan, and I told y'all that. That's just one thing I'm about to trip off of y'all on. The second thing is, like, people forget that James Pierre shut down Devontae Adams in Pittsburgh last year against the Raiders last year. People forget that. Like, that was the secret sauce last year against the Raiders. So let's not act like, Pierre ain't no stud, but he do what he get paid to do. And on top of that, like, you can't complain about this roster. This roster is like Super Bowl bound. You can't tell me nothing about this roster. This roster is perfectly put together. And my last point I wanted to make was they still got them 2 punters, but I want y'all to keep this in mind because Chris Boswell kick field goals, but that Brandon Mann dude, he do kickoffs. So they might be keeping him to do the kickoffs and let Harvin do the punting and let Boswell do the field goals. And that's what I think they cooking up and trying to preserve Boswell because he missed a lot of kicks last year, and that was kind of unacceptable. But I ain't going to hold you too long, bro. I just wanted to say that. Have a good night, bro.
Man, appreciate the call. Those are some great points you made. And you know what? I will own up to it and say, I think with James Pierre, it might just be recency bias. You might be right. Because when you said that, I will say I did forget all about that. Right? And also, we can't forget, even though when Philly came in, whatever, I don't know if that was last year or the year before, but y'all know when we played Philly, and we had to end up throwing Pierre out there to calm things down. And he did. He kept homeboy Brown from killing us after he had already killed us. So, yeah, maybe I'm being too harsh on James Pierre. And like I said, maybe it's lack of him playing so much. And even the criticism I had of him is actually a positive. Remember I said earlier, a couple weeks or so ago, I was saying, seems like he's always right there, but just doesn't make the play. So, yeah, I will admit it. Live on camera here. Yeah, maybe it's just recency bias with James Pierre. So obviously he's doing something right to make the team. So I will take that. I will take that. But the interesting points that you made, man, about the punter kicker situation. So to be determined, we'll wait and see. Next in the queue, Area 505. What you got for us?
How's it going, Sam? Long time no talk.
Good, man. How you been?
I've been good. So my comments will be kind of different from everything else. So along with Zach Gentry, we also had Jordan Bird, both from my hometown, and I've literally watched both of these guys dominate. here in New Mexico, but now in the league they're getting cut. It just kind of, it's so humbling because we'll talk a lot of shit about these players from our couch, and we'll say, "Oh, this guy sucks, this guy's trash or whatnot." But it just goes, it just goes to show that it takes so much grit and talent and just every opportunity you can get to make it in this league. I just find it so humbling. That's all that I wanted to say. That's all. I just wanted to, share that thought in front of everybody. Thank you, Sim.
Hey, man. Thank you for calling. That's a great point. Some of you guys have been listening to me for a long time. Some of you guys came at different points, so I don't know if you heard me say this before. But I said a year or two ago, a couple years ago, I said, y'all won't hear me call a professional football player trash. Just not my style. I will not do it. Because if you made it to the NFL, you were a good athlete. The most I would say is you're just not the best at your job. But I have not, since then, I will not call a dude a bum, trash, because, hey, I didn't make it to the NFL. And I thought I was very talented. I was a very good athlete. So, like you said, very humbling, man. Like you said, you see these dudes dominate in other spots, and then they get to, that just goes to show you, like you said, what type of talent what type of talent you face in the league. Like the NBA. Player number 15 will probably dust most of us in basketball. You know what I'm saying? It's just that, that's an even smaller percentage to make an NBA squad. So yeah, respect. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. And yeah, it is humbling at times, man. Like we're all Monday morning quarterbacks and couch GMs and couch head coaches and all of that. So respect. Next in the queue, and we got 3 more guys. Next in the queue, area 407. What you got for us?
Sam, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Hey, man. Hey, big fan. Been listening to you for a while, brother. Coming from Florida. I know you got family down here. I got one thing that's been on my mind about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Love them, love them, love them. But convince me that Pickens can get it done. That's my big fear. I don't think we got a quarterback. Convince me why I should feel that we're going to be okay.
All right. I'll try my best. Well, I'll say this. And first of all, appreciate the call. 407. I think that, if I'm correct, I think that's the Orlando area. I got folks in Tampa, not too far, as you would know. I will say this. I can't say I can convince, because everybody's opinion is different, but I will tell you what I like about him. I think Kenny got something, man. I love the most I love about him is his focus. Does not seem to get rattled. Does not seem to get rattled, man. The moment doesn't seem too big for him. Makes his mistakes, comes right back, tries it again. And I loved his maturation last season. Again, the way he started out, rookie jitters. And again, he didn't come into the league like this super touted, even though he might have been one of the better quarterbacks in that draft, but everybody says the draft wasn't great. It wasn't a good class. He wasn't like everybody knowing he's going to come in and dominate. But I think he progressed a lot over the season. And the way he finished up, those back-to-back game-winning drives against AFC opponents, against the Ravens. And he's showing, to me, so far in preseason, the boy's accuracy is looking a lot better. His decision-making is looking a lot better. He's decisive. He's tough. He seems like he has more control. I don't know if he's ever going to be a Patrick Mahomes, which is one of the lifetime talent. I don't know if he's ever going to be as sturdy as let me think of a solid quarterback. He might not be a Joe Burrow. Maybe not. But I think Kenny's talent, along with the talent around him and the defense, I'm not going to say it's happening this year, but I think we could get a Super Bowl while he's quarterback. If we keep building on to these pieces, I think he has enough to win a Super Bowl. Look at some of the quarterbacks who's won in the recent years, excluding Patrick Mahomes. But I'm just saying, you can look at teams and say, well, the quarterback wasn't a world beater. So, yeah, I think he can, man. That's just my, I think he's a baller. I think he has somewhat of an it factor. And the biggest thing I needed him to work on was his accuracy. It looks like his accuracy has gotten better. Small sample size, but I'm telling you, man, that throw to Deontay Johnson down the sideline, that thing was right on the money. The ball placement to Pickens. The first touchdown, the first throw in preseason down the middle, like to Pickens. Pickens. Yeah, see, I'm getting their names mixed up. I'm just saying. That throw he made to Freiermuth on his touchdown in the middle of the field, I think that was in the second game. If he making throws like that, and if his decision making is right, I think he has enough to win a Super Bowl at some point. Not 2023. All right, guys, 2 more calls. Let's wrap this up. Next up, area code 313. What you got for us?
Hey, Sim, what's going on? This your boy from Detroit again calling in. And
yes, sir.
I was just listening. I was just listening to a lot of the guys, and everybody talking about this Kenny Pickett going to be a good quarterback and everything. And for, the 55 years of my life, me watching football, especially Steeler brand football, you're right. Kenny Pickett, and I'm going to tell you the quarterbacks he can remind me of. He remind me of, I don't know if you ever watched Jim Plunkett, who played with the Raiders. He got the cerebral talent around him. And if you put the right pieces like the breakaway back, like Marcus Allen them back in the days, and you got the backs that can hit the home run, and here's the whole thing, with a stout defense. The reason I say we have a chance to even win the AFC North is because our defense can challenge those 3 quarterbacks in the league. We got the coaching staff to challenge Cleveland, Baltimore, and, the Cincinnati Bengals. So it's the defense that won us in the past. Remember, Bradshaw was average. See, I watched him. Bradshaw would even say, I would throw for 220 or 30 yards. Harrison Bryant would dog you with the running game, and the defense will shut you down. That's how they was building this team. That's why I said it's a reminiscent of the team of the 70s. That's how they going back to old Steeler football. People still stuck on this new age football when the quarterback can go out there and throw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. Dan Fouts them was back there like the Chargers back in the days like that. Why didn't they win a Super Bowl? Because of their defense. This is what's going to be the telltale all of the AFC North. It's going to come down to defense. Everybody got offense. The whole conference got offense. It's going to break down to who plays the best defense and make the game-changing plays. That's why we got Patrick Peterson, we got Fitzpatrick, and those guys. And this is what, to me, is going to propel the Steelers in front to win this division defensively. Oh, I meant to tell you, Eric Green, please go back and look at Eric Green. That's why I gave that reference of him and Donnell Washington. And that guy who said Eric Green wasn't a good blocker, that man was all pro. Our best running back in Steeler history. It was Barry Foster ran for the most yards of over 1,600 in one season. And watch him run behind Eric Green and watch him be platinum, moving people back just like Donnell Washington. Look on YouTube for yourself, bro. Y'all have a blessed one. I'm out. Thank you.
Man, thanks for calling. I definitely remember you calling and saying they building that old 70s team, and you laid out the formula right there. And like you said, I know people are going to say, oh, well, in Terry's day, they didn't pass as much. Okay, I get that. But still, like some of you guys are saying in the chat, people are saying, the man got booed for 4 years. I just don't know. I don't know. Is it because of the new era? It's like, I told y'all, us Steeler fans, man, Steeler Nation is spoiled. Y'all want superstars every time out. Like, y'all want the best quarterback in the league to have gotten drafted. The best cornerback, right? The best runner, best everything. It's like, and you don't even give Kenny a chance. Like, y'all don't see no positives from this kid? Like, come on, Steeler Nation. What we doing? Y'all don't see no positives from this dude. Come on, man. We'll see. And again, if he turns out to bomb, then I'm sure all of us will be like, man, I thought he was going to be better. That's just it. Like, to me, there's no right or wrong when it comes to the Steelers. I'm not challenging none of you guys as fellow fans. I don't do the I was right, I was wrong. It don't matter to me. I'm rooting for everybody. Even if I don't think they were great, man, I hope he can turn it around. That's my mentality because they play for the squad that I root for. What difference does it make for me to just complain? I don't. We can have our opinions, but I mean to constantly just dig and dig. What difference do it make? The Steelers are running with him. So until the Steelers move on from him, you better hope he does a good job. And furthermore, I think the kid is improving. And this is year 2. He hasn't even played a full season. Last call of the night, man. Area code 651. What you got for us?
What's up with you, Sam?
Nothing much, man. What's going on?
Man, look. The whole problem is everybody want to be in a rush to say, I knew it first. He wasn't a good quarterback. And if it happens 5 years down the line, they say, see, I told you. But they forgot all the time in between. Everybody in a rush to be right. But Kenny, man, it was reported this dude watched every incompletion he had last year. That's some film study. I don't care what nobody say. Like,
yeah.
He's sitting here and realizing, like, oh, if I just put a touch to the left, oh, Pickens like it right here, or Deontay likes it right there. Like, that's some film study, bro. And then when you look at him in his eyes, there's certain players, especially if you played football before, you know certain players. Like, you look at Adrian Peterson and you look at Najee. They got a look in their eyes. You already know it's going to be a long day. Like, oh, here we go. All day long. I got to hit this dude all day long. Like, he ready. Kenny got to look at his eyes like he ain't shook about nothing.
Nothing.
And I think having him a second year, he's going through the process of seeing what he did wrong. And another thing that I mentioned last year, him and Deshaun Watson look alike to me. For some reason, when you watch them in the pocket, they look calm. Like, I got no speed to get out of this if I need to. I'm just standing here for a little bit. And nothing there? Okay, let me go. Right? And Kenny kind of broke out a little earlier before, but when you watch it, they look alike. Same. If you look at the 40 time, they're pretty much the same. Kenny breaks tackles a lot. You grabbing on him, he's getting loose. And now I think he's starting to understand the game. He's seeing how to use Deontay and Pickens as well. Like, okay, Deontay is always open early. Let me get to him if he's there. Pickens, let me throw his thing up, let him do what he got to do. But I think this year, man, it's going to be problems out here, and people don't realize it. The other thing is, how many years have we gone into the first game and argued about who was cut? We had a lot of talent, man, to be able to say, man, oh, they cut him? Oh, no, we should have kept this guy. Then 50 other people saying, no, we should have kept this guy. Like that, man, that's a testament to the people we brought in to bring this talent in here, and they're doing their job. So I have no argument on who should have been left or kept. I'm trusting them. But it's crazy that we're arguing about that now, which we never had before. We're looking for other people on the cut list. Now we're thinking, oh, we should have kept this guy. Let that guy go. So, I mean, I'm excited, man. I'm just ready for it to go, man. All right, thank you.
Man, thanks for calling. And yes, you're right about that. It must be quite a decent talent pool, man, in order for us to feel like that. And furthermore, like you said, it's just I don't understand the narrative sometimes, man. It's like Kenny got something. He do. And like you said, people just want to it's the social media syndrome. And again, I'm not saying that disrespectfully for anybody who's listening, but it's the truth. I think everybody has a piece of that. It was a time when I was on YouTube, recent years, no, but it was a time when you hear some news, I'll give you a perfect example. You guys know, my relationship that I had with EA, and, I'm still kind of a little bit, and with Madden, anytime I would get Madden news, I try to hurry up and rush and put a video up to be the first. But then I started being like, for what? That ain't even me. Like, I don't chase stuff like that. That's why like my channel hasn't blown all the way up, because I'm organic. Like I'm not doing the gimmicks. I'm not doing any of that to make my channel grow. So it's like, dog, a few years back, I'll say 3 years or so, maybe longer, I was like, you know what, man? I'm not doing nothing just for the views, just for the clicks. I don't have to be first. I'm just doing me. And y'all know sometimes I deliver news rather quick because I'm at home. I work from home a lot, and sometimes stuff happen. I'll be like, oh man, let me do a video to my family here, still a nation. But it ain't. You got to unplug from all of that. And I do think that is a part of the reason why people always want to be the I told you so. I said it first. None of that should matter when it comes to rooting for the Steelers. Because if any of us turn out to be right about a player, we can laugh and joke about it. But that's as far as it goes. It don't change anything. It's not going to change the way the Steelers draft or who they start, who they hire as their coach. They don't change none of that. So what difference do it make if you don't like Kenny Pickens? If you are still a fan, right? I'm being serious here. If you are a fan, you should be hoping that the boy turns out, because you don't want your team to be trash. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I mean when I say, why do we keep running around the barn like chasing our own tail, like with these arguments or debates? Like, we can have an opinion. That's what we do here. Y'all know I let everybody rock out as long as you're being respectful to each other. Rock out, have your different debates, but when we just hammering on it week after week, what difference does it make? I, for one, hope Kenny Pickens excels. And I, for one, just my opinion, in my eyes, I think the guy has something. I think he's steadily improving. And being the film junkie, like my man just said, like we've heard that, but to hear it broken down like that, if this dude is watching incomplete, he's trying to find ways to be better. And again, his deep ball, all of that is looking better to me in the short sample size that we saw. Now come week 1 against the 49ers, and let's say weeks 1 through 6, let's see how he handles the whole game. Then we can come back and say, he still got to do this. Or we might be saying, yo, that boy balling. Give it some time. Give it some time for him to either fail or excel. So that's all. That's all I got. Not gonna stay too much longer. Let's read a few comments, man. And then we'll get out of here. Kenya says, exactly, Sim, because we ain't getting Caleb Williams. So let's ride with Kenny. We ain't tanking for Caleb. Yeah. Boy, that boy Caleb Williams, man. He seemed like a short shot, don't he? And that boy seemed calm and composed too in the pocket. Kid fumbled the ball, or it was a bad snap or something Kenya sent to me the other day, and still threw a 70-something yard touch. That boy Caleb Williams. Yeah, he's a pretty nice prospect. That was a good comparison, I thought, from 6'5" And you've said that before about the Deshaun Watson thing. And before you guys go disagreeing, listen to what he's saying. Listen to what he's saying, why he's comparing Watson and Kenny, and then go look for yourself and see if what he's saying is matching up, right? So don't just take what he said and be like, oh, he ain't no Deshaun Watson. Dissect what he said and go see for yourself if it matches up, because 651 has said that before. He has said that before. What's up, Miss Debbie? Debbie in the building. Everybody make sure you say hello to Debbie, man. Lovely lady of the chat. And some of the others may be in here as well. I know Lanisha here was early, so if I missed y'all know it wasn't intentional. But make sure y'all say hello to Debbie, the leading lady of the Ladies Steeler Nation. A couple more. What y'all got, man? Wait, what y'all saying? What Rajon said? Let me scroll up. What Rajon said. Everybody's congratulating them. Yeah, he says, "Sup, Kenyon?" Who said something about Kenny? Oh, that's dope, man. He says his nephew made the Commanders. Man, round of applause to the young brother. That's super dope, man. You know, to know, you know, people actually in the NFL family. I mean, y'all know my story. You know, Javon Holland is my cousin. And you know, had the family reunion this year, and he was supposed to make it. And you know, some things, him and his brother didn't make it, but his mom, his father, sister were there. And I hadn't seen his mom in so many years, you know, because she's a little older than me. Yeah, you know, met the father for the first time, and I have never met Javon or his brother, because again, they live on the West Coast. And this would have been the opportunity to do it. But again, and it's always dope when you either have family or you know people in the NFL. That's cool. You know, that's real cool. But just like I would say, somebody says he's going to stay with the home team or root for, this is what you do. You root for your family, but your team is your team. And that even goes for if my son somehow, if he decides to play ball when he gets older, and I don't care what team he go to, I'm still gonna be a Steelers fan, and I'm gonna root for my son. But my whole life, since I've cared about football, I've been a Steelers fan. That ain't gonna change. But all right, man, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. We're gonna get out of here, man. I hope everybody has a great, wonderful evening. Next week, the plan is to have a still table with Kenyon and Tony, if you want to come on, and I will give the invitation to the ladies. Hit me up, Debbie, Lanisha, and if Destiny, Sade, if any of y'all hear this, also any of the other ladies that are more of the newcomers, like Tina, there's a few others, Laura, some of you all out there, if y'all want to be a part of that ladies conglomerate, I would say contact Debbie. Debbie seems to be the organizer, or Lanisha, and you know, get with them. But I will invite the ladies of Steeler Nation to come on as well. If not, it'll just be myself and Kenyon, and we'll make some bold predictions for week 1 and kind of how we're feeling going into week 1 on next Tuesday. But outside of that, only thing I need y'all to do for me, boom, like button, subscribe, turn on your notification. I need you to do that. Those 3 things, easy, simple, and it's free. No donation required. But all right, man, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Have a great night. Stay safe. God bless. Hey, season is about to kick off. But like always, thank you for tuning in, and I shall catch you in the next one. Peace.